As Ukraine prepares for major counteroffensives, the U.S. Army has tested a new armor-piercing round for the M1 Abrams, the 120mm M1 shell, believed to deliver unprecedented power that could shift the battlefield. Could this be the trump card Kyiv needs to counter Russia's increasingly heavy armor? Let's find out. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has entered its third year, with intense battles raging in the east and south. Russia has deployed more upgraded tanks, particularly the T-90M, with advanced composite armor and protective cages. Meanwhile, Ukraine awaits the arrival of US M1 Abrams tanks. But beyond the vehicles themselves, the ammunition they fire is the key factor that will determine their true power on the battlefield. The 120mm M1 armor-piercing round, also known as APFSDST, armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot, tracer, is designed to defeat explosive reactive armor, ERA, and modern composite armor. Its unique feature lies in its depleted uranium or tungsten core, giving it extreme density and penetrative power at hypersonic speeds. In recent tests, this round demonstrated the ability to pierce more than 600 millimeters of rolled homogeneous armor, a figure that even Russia's most advanced tanks cannot easily withstand. U.S. Army test-fire M1 tank, deadly 120mm armor-piercing for Ukraine counteroffensive. The U.S. will receive a recurring supply of the latest armor-piercing rounds for Abrams tanks. Could its industrial sustainment for Ukraine? Aerojet Rocketdyne's metal specialist subsidiary, Aerojet Ordnance Tennessee AOT, has been awarded a multi-year indefinite quantity contract worth up to 1.75 meters. The company will provide the U.S. Army with M829 A40mm kinetic energy rounds, which are specifically designed for the M1 Abrams main battle tanks MBT. These rounds are the latest type of ammunition to be used by the American-made ABS. It is the material solution for the Abrams lethality capability gap against threat vehicles equipped with third-generation explosive reactive armor. This flight projectile includes a low drag fin with a tracer, windshield, and tip assembly. The latest feature to the M829A4, compared with previous cartridges, is the Ammunition Data Link ADL on the base of the cartridge. This functions as an interface between the ABS fire control system and the M829A4. The ADL enables the ABS fire control system to send information to the M829A4. Aerojet Rocketdyne CEO and President Eileen Drake stated, "We are pleased to continue supporting the U.S. Army with the cutting-edge, armor-piercing technology that protects our forces and keeps our adversaries on the defensive in terms of precision and lethality." The M829A4 main battle tank round is second to none, which is what our brave men and women in uniform deserve, supplying Ukraine's counteroffensive. On the 21st of April, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin confirmed that the U.S. has expedited our M1 Abrams timelines to supply Ukraine with more armored capability in the coming months. It is reasonable to believe that the U.S. Defense Industrial Base will fill this munitions gap. In a bilateral meeting with Austin on the 12th of April, the Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal reiterated his desire to receive more Abrams MBT. The sentiments of Pentagon officials are high when picturing the effect an M1 Abrams can have on the battlefield. As the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, stated, "I think the M1 tank's the best tank in the world. I do think the M1 tank, when it is delivered, will make a difference." On the scales of comparison, Russia's T-90M boasts relic composite armor and protective cages. However, the 120mm M1 round can reach a muzzle velocity of over 1,500 meters per second, enough to punch through most of these defenses. This means that in a direct confrontation, Abrams with this new ammunition would hold a major advantage. Of course, Russia is not standing still. It is developing active protection systems like Arena M to intercept incoming rounds. The battlefield is therefore a relentless technological arms race. The timing of this test is no coincidence. Ukraine is preparing its counteroffensive, and one of its greatest challenges lies in Russia's mechanized defenses, heavily reliant on tank and armored formations. By testing and potentially supplying the most powerful armor-piercing rounds, Washington aims to ensure that the Abrams is not just a symbol, but a true force capable of engaging Russian main battle tanks head-on. On the scales of comparison, Russia's T-90M boasts relit composite armor and protective cages. However, the 120mm M1 round can reach a muzzle velocity of over 1,500 meters per second, enough to punch through most of these defenses. This means that in a direct confrontation, Abrams with this new ammunition would hold a major advantage. Of course, Russia is not standing still. It is developing active protection systems like Arena M to intercept incoming rounds. The battlefield is therefore a relentless technological arms race. With its powerful penetration capability, this ammunition could help Ukraine break through dense mechanized defenses. A scenario where Abrams spearheads the assault, destroying Russian tanks and opening the way for Ukrainian infantry and armor, is entirely plausible. However, the decisive factor is not just the weapon itself, but also numbers, tactics, and especially sustainment. Since these rounds are extremely costly and difficult to mass produce, the U.S. military is betting on the power of the 120mm M1 armor-piercing round as a potential game-changer. But will it be enough to turn the tide in Ukraine, where every day is a deadly race between technology and tactics? The answer can only be found on the battlefield.